In this video, we're going to start setting up our CSS document and also actually doing a little bit of styling using the CSS, just to give you a very brief kind of intro into it and actually make something happen. Let's kind of get into the magic of CSS. I kind of always feel that you need to actually try it out before you really begin understanding this stuff. So what we're going to do is create a new CSS document. We're going to save it in the same folder as our HTML page. Now in the future you may want to have your own folder for the CSS and also for your images. For the minute, I mean, my stuff is so straightforward that it being all in the same folder is fine. However, let's say for example I have a website with 50 images, maybe 3 or 4 CSS pages, and the rest, I might have 10 more pages. It may become a bit chaotic and a bit crazy. So you do want to make sure that everything is in its own specific folder wherever possible. It just makes your life a lot easier. We're going to put this line of code into our HTML. This goes within the head tags right at the top of your HTML page. So you've got link, reference, and then the path to where your CSS file is going to be kept or found. So because my CSS page is going to be in the same folder, it's just going to be the straight file name. So whatever I go to call it, .css. And then this is the type of file it is. So it's a text CSS file. Again, just so your browser knows what it's looking for. And then the relationship between your HTML page and the CSS page. So it's going to be a style sheet. Again, just to make it very kind of definitive within for your web browser. I can't think of a better word than that right now. It's late on a Saturday night. But anyway, let's get going with this. So straight into the HTML. I've modified the page after our forms example. I've stripped out all of the form stuff, and I've just put some basic tigers information in there. So I've got a header, I've got an image of a tiger, I've got a paragraph of text that I've shamelessly stolen from Wikipedia. At the end of the day, that's not what I'm going to show you right now. It's just a page full of content. It looks like this right now, so it's nothing special, but we want to turn this and begin to turn these web pages into something that you could potentially use for whatever purpose you're planning to do. You might be creating a portfolio site or an information site, whatever it might be. Within my folder, I've made these massives because I'm trying to make them nice and clear for you guys. This is my index page, that's my web page. Again, just to reiterate that your main page of your website should be called index or home, preferably index. So that is the default page that your browser will look for. It's like this is the home page of the website. This is the first page that you should open up. And then I have a video that was from one of my early tutorials and the picture of the tiger here. And I'm going to store my CSS in the same page, same folder as this. So to do this, I'm just going to create a new file. And the first thing I'm going to do is save this file as CSS page. I'm going to call it style.css. And then I'm going to save it. Now when I go into here, it's just the same folder again. You can see that the web page has been created. Not the web page, the CSS page has been created, and I've got this cog here so it knows it's a style sheet. And now we can start actually beginning to link these two pages together. I'm not going to put anything in the style sheet just yet, but the link needs to go in the head tag, because we want it to load before the body, because you've got to remember this is what we want our web page to look like, so we want it to load before anything else in our web page. So link ref equals style.css. Type equals text.css, and then we're going to call it a style sheet. Now that right now should do absolutely nothing, and in fact I have failed to close my, there we go, whoops, there we go. Again, like I said, this is why we spend half of our life troubleshooting, because you might miss out something as simple as a speech mark at the end of a link, and then you spend hours trying to work out why something doesn't work, and it's something as rudimentary as that, but it is what it is, right? I'll just do some indentation here to make it look a bit nicer. Okay, so when I go into my web page, it should do absolutely nothing, because we've not put anything into the style sheet yet. And I think it's time to actually start putting something into the style sheet. So it doesn't work quite the same way as HTML. You won't ever lay it out like a HTML page. You refer to the tags within the HTML page. You may be referring to things called div tags, IDs and classes later on. Those are basically things within your HTML page that will help make tags unique. I'll explain that later when we kind of get to it, but think of like you may not want every single paragraph tag to look the same, so therefore we need to make them unique. Even though you may use them multiple times, you want to kind of be able to distinguish one another. Anyway, let's just do something. Okay, so H1 color blue. Sorry, I ran into a couple of minor gremlins there. Yeah, so we've saved it as, well, not saved it yet. We've put in H1 color blue. Here, I'm going to save it in my CSS, and I'm going to go back into my HTML. Now, something that I've noticed that I made an error here later on, earlier on. So I put text.css. That should be a slash. Many apologies for that. Again, like I said, this is one of the issues that we have as web developers, that we will occasionally put in the wrong piece of code, totally kind of absent-minded. We've done this for years and years and years, and we still accidentally put typos in there and whatnot. So yeah, that should be a slash. Type text slash CSS H1 color blue, and then when I go into my web page, the tigers is now in a blue color, which is fab. We can do more than just this, however. So if I go in and do paragraph, if I do font family, I'll just select Arial. Now the thing is with fonts, you do need to bear in mind that the end user, so your client, will only be able to view fonts that is installed on their machine. So you don't want to be downloading any crazy fonts onto your machine and automatically assuming that your clients will have it on their machine. You're generally better off sticking with fonts which are relatively common, like your Arial or sans serif type fonts, which are on pretty much every machine that we have. So if I go back in and click refresh, then you'll find that the text down the bottom has changed into the font that you have hopefully selected. And already, I mean, just changing the font there makes the web page look a lot more professional, in my opinion. Times New Roman isn't really that appropriate font to have a web page in. It just kind of doesn't look like it's been styled in any way. So in future videos, we're going to start looking at how we can use CSS to actually start to make this page resemble what we associate more with web pages. So things like layouts and things like creating navigation bars.